for everywhere, as I given you some day-to-day life examples also, how exactly the information has to be organized in near and there of yours. We have discussed the example of computer lab. First of all, if my computer is there, so I need to arrange my all chairs near to it. So you must arrange all the things. It is that should be easily accessible. It should be perfectly organized. It should be well maintained. So according to that, as we are a computer engineer, we have to organize our data in a such a way that all things will be very efficient for the user. As I told you, efficient is the main important word. So according to that, we know that there are some information or data, there is a thin difference between it. So whenever we are discussing about this information and data, data is nothing but your all facts or details, but the information we can say it is derived. Your data is raw material, which is unprocessed one, but information is a processed one. So we discuss this example, sorry, this diagram. Information we have derived from the data. So data we are giving to the circuitry, or we can say the processing part. In that processing, all the data is getting collected, and whatever the things new come out, that thing is called as the information. So the difference between data and information, data is unprocessed and information is a processed. So whenever you are writing a program, the program is nothing but taking your raw input data and deriving some kind of information, which is the output coming from your program. So there is a relationship exists in between your data, your program, and the information, right? That we discuss. Next, we have discussed some meaning about structure. So the structure has to satisfy some kind of a rules, like it must be continuous, it must be having some links, that is one after another. You have to place some kind of a formulas over there, and depending upon the things you are organizing, the rules changes. But at least one of the rule, like continuous, connection, and the formula has to be there whenever you are organizing your data. Then we discuss some type of a data, means which kind of a information you are supplying to your program. So the type of a data has to be defined. So we have some basic types, like integer, float, double character, void. These are some basic data types that you are using for storing the information, or we can say to representing the information, which kind of data you want to process for further for getting the information, right? So that we discussed. Next to that, after this, we know some kind of information regarding data is like the range, how much amount of information it can store, how much number of bytes your single data type can have into your memory. So every data type will have its own range and own size, and depending upon this only you are supposed to write your program. Okay. Next, we can give some qualifiers to your basic data types, like unsigned and signed. So number of data type increases in nothing but you are adding some kind of a properties to those data. So depending upon that, range varies, and we required format specifier for taking the information that to be displayed from your program to your screen. In the sense, we are writing percentage d for uh, we can say this integer part. So the main information which is present into your memory can be accessed by this percentage d, and it will get displayed as a form of a English or numbers to your output screen, right? So likewise, format specifiers are needed. Then we discuss the definition of data structure, which was it is particular way for storing, organizing a data into a computer memory so that it can be accessed, retrieved, used, modified efficiently. So this all four parts are so important, like access, modified, and storage wala part, because it gives you the information, and it ultimately, if you arrange your data so perfectly, you can able to access it, you can able to modify it, you can able to give it to some another one, and so on. So efficiently, I told you, efficiently is the better word, that you have to uh, what we can say, you have to take care every time whenever you are using your system and the data that you are storing into it. So it is the important one, you need to take care about it. Then what we have done, we started with some kind of information regarding what we can say, the different types of a data structure. One is called as a primitive, second one is called as a non-primitive. Whatever the basic data types we have discussed, you are dealing it with from first year, those all are falling under the category of primitive data structure, that is integer, float, character, double and pointer. These are basic one, in the sense you are using it automatically, or we can say those are some basic atomic wala data types. But non-primitive data structures are again getting divided into two parts, linear and non-linear one. So I told you all this 5 to 6 things which are listed over here as a linear data structure and non-linear data structure. These are nothing but chapters in your syllabus. So from that, again I told you that if you remember all, arrays and linked lists, these are ways or methods we can say to implement stack, queue, tree and graph. So with the help of this, I started giving you the information about uh, stack, queue, tree and graph. So anyone unmute yourself and tell me, there is a difference between example and applications of data structure, true or false? Anyone? There is a difference between applications and examples. So look at the screen and what we can say, just recall whatever we have discussed previously. Anyone can unmute yourself and you can give me answer about example and application difference. If anyone remember, just give me one example of stack and one application of stack. Just give your thoughts on it whenever I ask you about this. Anyone unmute yourself, or otherwise I will call some particular number so and so to answer the questions. Yes, yes, there is example and application difference. So you can answer these questions.
Example of stack is arranging the all the books on the table.
Okay, correct. Then
And application is application notification of WhatsApp messages and
okay, application is
notification.
notification of WhatsApp message, right? Means one after another you are arranging your books, that will be considered as example, and the application of the stack is there in your our mobile phone. So whatever messages and all we are getting, so those are nothing but application of data structure. As I told you that all data structures are working on a specific rule, each data structure having its different rules, and according to that different rules it is working. So as I told you, stack is last in first out, means the thing whatever you have what we can say, the last book you kept on your rack will be the first book will taken by the teacher, we can say, for checking your assignment. So last in first out is the example of your first stack wala part. Next we discussed about what queue, right? Queue is nothing but the principal working of this queue is first in first out. The thing who is entered first. As you can see here in a diagram, that person leaving the queue was the first one who entered into the queue for buying some kind of a tickets, we can say. And the person who is entering into the last into your queue will be having the last ticket from that. We discussed this as an example of a queue. If you remember, we discussed the application of queue is the system that runs into the MACD. MACD in the sense you are visiting to the cafe area or cafe shops like McDonald's, and you need to buy some kind of a ticket, sorry, not tickets, tokens. So the one who comes first, that number will be displayed on your display screen, and according to that, the one who put their order first will get their order first. So application of queue is nothing but MACD or any other type of cafe shops, those who are based on the tokens, right? So this is the example of queue. Uh, Up to this we discussed in the previous lecture. Now moving ahead for the next two types. One is called as a tree and second one is called as a graph. Now listen carefully. uh, Tree is nothing but, you can see there is one, there are three, not three, four levels, hierarchy in the sense one after another. One is top, and from that some of the branches are presented, like for example a, we can say in this diagram. This screen is visible to everyone? Anyone please unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the tree is, we are discussing now the tree. At the top of this tree, A is written. So from A, three lines are coming out. Those three lines are connecting to B, C, and D. So we can say the top level is A. B, C, D are at the same level, level number 2. A is at level number 1. B, C, D are level number 2. Similarly, from B, C, D, there are some more connections are coming out. Those connections are connected respectively: B with E, C with F, G, H, and D with I, J. So E, F, G up to J, these all components are same level, level number 3. A is level number 1, B, C, D level number 2, E to J are level number 3, and last one K, L, M are level number 4. So tree is nothing but you are arranging your system in some kind of a hierarchical manner, where every level is having some kind of a top level, and from that top level new components are derived. And we can say by the structure of this tree, it can be expandable as well as it can shrink in the sense, if suppose I am removing this K, L, and M from this entire tree, my complete tree will be of three level: A, B, C, D, and E to J. If suppose I have removed four level, so I can say that as per my requirements I am extending my tree, and as per my requirement I am removing the components from the tree to make that tree shrinks. So tree can be grows, tree can be shrinks. So depending upon this, your data structure or your data you are supposed to organize. Now coming back, I'll tell you first what is the example and what is the application of this part. So whenever I am saying tree, okay, so tree is nothing but, um, let's consider the example of college system. I'll telling you first example. Okay, the college level at a location, we can say the topmost higher authority is principal. From that principal, we have the next top higher authorities are HODs of all departments. Let's say B is nothing but CSE, C is nothing but ENTC, D is nothing but mechanical. So above principal, next three HODs will be there, the head of the departments. The next higher authority after your HODs will becoming the faculties. So all the level 3 are faculty members, and at the last, we can say level number 4, we have students. So according to that, I can draw the hierarchy of principal topmost, then HODs next level, then faculty members next level, so on. Now in this example, I can say that I can grow my tree. Like for example, if suppose I am adding some lab in charges, so lab in charges will have the higher authority after faculty members. So likewise, I can add all the numbers downside. If suppose now consider the example, I don't want to consider as the institute. Okay, if I want to consider this as only limiting to the department, there is no such need of top level principal. Okay, I can have department wise. So let's consider this left hand part. D will be your head of the department, E will be faculty members, KL will be your students. So I can remove one level, topmost level, if I am focusing on my department itself. If I am thinking right from the institute point of view, I need to consider all the higher authorities right from upper to lower. Now, are you getting why I am saying the trees can be growing or can be shrink? Depending upon your requirements, you can expand it, or depending upon your requirements, you can remove it. Right? So, likewise, there are multiple example you can show, as I am writing only with the institute level. Now, can anyone tell me about another example apart from institute where you have hierarchy? You need to consider topmost level, then down, you can say to the downside. So anyone can give me one example of tree apart from institute? You can give me anything than institute.
Government.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Please.
Network marketing.
What?
Network
Confidently.
marketing.
Marketing. Okay. Anything else? Marketing.
Military.
Please tell confidently, and please raise your voice. I can't hear.
Government offices.
Yes, government offices, correct. Where we have multiple, we need to visit multiple people and to get work done from the government and all. Even if you consider hospitals also, this is one of the example of hierarchy. If you want to visit to the doctor, right from the registration desk up to the last appointment with the doctor, we need to go to registration and then a prior checkup and then to the doctor and so on. So now all of you are getting what is the example of your tree. Now I'm coming back to the application. Now, what is the application of the tree? You have to think in such a way that uh, what you have observed in your computer system, that is working like a tree. Okay, so I tell you the example. In your computer or in your laptop, what you do, you make one folder. Okay, let's say I have created one folder uh, named as DS. Okay, data structure. In that, I'm keeping some files. Not necessary that the limit is there for keeping the file as only 1, 2 and so on, but you have multiple files into the single one. You are making collection of files as well as folders into your laptop. Okay, then what you do, you can use a folder inside that basic folder, and you can use multiple folders into it, multiple files into it. Means my question is, there is no such limitations of creating what we can say, the number of folders and files into your system. It can grow, it can shrink as well. Shrink in the sense you have your choice when to delete it and you have your choice what to means what to keep and what to extend. Like for example, if I'm saying I'm having one folder named as a movie, okay, I have two folders, including one is, we can say, Hindi movies, second folder is English movies. Okay, so in Hindi, so how many levels are there here? Are you getting my applications, how exactly your computer system is working? How many levels? If I have one folder named as movie, and in that two folder, one is the Hindi movie and second one is the English movie. So how many levels of my tree is this?
2 levels.
Two levels. Who is the topmost?
Movies.
Who is topmost one?
Movies.
Movies is the topmost one, and your Hindi and English movie folder, these two are at the level 2. Now in Hindi movie, I have added some latest movies over there, 4-5 movies I have added. And in Hindi movies, okay, what I did, I have added some movies also, and also I have created one more folder of web series. Okay, in web series you are downloading some web series into it, and you are keeping it. So my folders will be looking like this tree, where A is movie, C is Hindi movie folder, E, F, G are movies plus one folder of web series. Are you getting? So depending upon this, the applications of trees are whatever the data you are keeping into your system as a folder wise, that can be considered as a hierarchy manner. And to visit to the last, if I want to traverse this tree, okay, traversing in the sense, the term traversing comes if I want to visit to the particular component, I have to begin my traversing or visiting from the topmost one. In the sense, in this diagram, if I want to go to M, okay, last component M, I need to first visit A, then I need to visit C, then again I need to visit H, and I need to visit M. So the path will be A, C, H, and M. So this is called as a traversing. Similarly, into your system, if you want to look at a particular file which is stored into particular folder, you have to go right from the topmost folder, depth into that, unless and until you find that particular file. Okay, so you have to visit it like the application of tree is working like traversing of multiple folders and accessing the file into your computer system. So I hope you are getting the different applications of tree and examples of a tree. Okay, now any doubt in this? Getting what is the meaning of tree? Yes, no?
Ma'am. No, ma'am.
Getting? So shall I move to the next example, graph? Okay, so what is the meaning of graph? Now you can see that in previous slide, or here in previous slide, trees and graphs are considered as a non-linear data structure. Non-linear data structure in the sense, why the difference is non-linear and linear is, I tell you. You can see above diagram of stack and queue, you can see one line. Everything is one after another. That is in a sequential manner, or it is in a linear manner. You can say in a book, in a upward direction, one after another, the sequence is there or line is there. In a queue, a persons are standing one after another, line in a queue. Okay, but you cannot give such sequence in the data structure like tree and graph. Okay, now in tree, the linearity is not available one after another. If it is one after another, what will be the restrictions in the tree? You have to only give one single component, either B or C or D. You cannot give three components coming out from the location A. right? So one can connect it to one more than one component at one time. So there is no such kind of a linearity exist over here in tree. Similarly in graph as well. Now in graph you can say that what is the difference between tree and graph you can observe from this. What is the difference? In tree and graph, as per this diagram, you cannot give any top level, first level, middle level, or least level into the graph. Because if you observe tree, every component will have its own upper authority or upper level existing over here. But in a graph, you cannot say that, yeah, level 0 is at topmost level, level 1 is at topmost level. No, any component can be at same level, can be at different level, or you cannot differentiate those numbers in a hierarchy manner. So the basic difference between tree and graph are: tree consisting of hierarchy, graph don't have such kind of a hierarchy. Everything can be connected with anyone at any time and by any means. Now I tell you what is the basic, we can say that example, and let's begin with the application itself. Okay, so in application I am okay, the real life example I'll tell you first. I want to go to some uh, places, or I want to go to trip tour, but I don't know where exactly the location is. Okay, so what my first choice is? I am opening my Google Maps. So Google Maps are providing me, depending upon my current location in the sense, let's say I am here at college Hipparga, and I want to go to some location like I want to go to Akkalkot. Okay, so what is the thing? I don't know the line. I don't know the roads where to go. What is where to take left? From where should I take right, and so on. Usually what we do, we open our mobile, we open a Google, and we click on map, where you put your current location, let's say Hipparga and Kyorgit, and from that you providing the destination, Akkalkot, or we can say that temple of Akkalkot, and so on. So I am writing only Akkalkot over here. So what is happening over here? Your system takes source as Hipparga and destination as what we can say, destination as Akkalkot. Okay, I'll tell, I'm considering this 0 as green circle, 0 is Hipparga and 4 is my Akkalkot. Okay, so I want to go there. I have minimum whatever the number of routes available. From that, your system gives you all 4 routes. How can you reach? So I can reach from 0 to 4 directly by this line. Okay, I can reach 4 by visiting 0 to 1, 1 to 4. I can visit 0 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 4. I can visit 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So I have 4 possible ways to connect or to reach from my current source to the destination number 4. So whenever I am considering graph, the circle indicates vertices, and the line that connects those vertices are called as the edges. Okay, so I have possible edges and possible vertices if I am going from source to destination. So in the Google Map applications, I can say that the districts, or we can say right? Districts or states can be considered as a vertices, and the routes that connects the districts or villages can be considered as a edges. So I can say, sorry, I can say Solapur and Pune. These are two cities. Whatever the lines are there, those are the routes for connecting Solapur to Pune, right? Similarly, if I want to go to Punjab, I can say that these numbers 0, 1, 2 and so on, these are your states. From that states you are using the routes how to reach from one to another and so on. So your Google map, your basic India wala map, whatever you can see as a map, that can be the example of a graph. Okay, right from the school we are using geography as a subject, and in that you have a maps. So that maps are nothing but a graph which gives you the information of the location as well as the routes from where you can join. So whenever you are considering map as a basic application, okay, you have n number of routes, routes like if I choose okay, in a Google, if you have observed, it gives you three options. Okay, if you are by walking, if you are going by your own vehicle, it gives you car symbol. If you are using a train, it gives you train symbol. And if you are traveling by bus and all, so it gives you four options from where if you want to visit from one location to another location. Depending upon these choices, again the parameter varies. If I am using my own vehicle, my own car, it will take less time as compared to if I am using a public transport. Am I right? So according to that, your routes gives you the minimum shortest path and minimum time requirement from one location to the another location, right? So you can say that this is the example, sorry, this is the application. Google map is the application of a graph. Now can anyone come back and tell me what is the example of graph that you day to day life you use it? Yeah, I first used to tell you first example and then application. Now I told you the application first. Now it's your duty, if you come to know that what is the meaning of graph, you can tell me the basic example. One two examples I have already discussed 2 minutes back. I tell you the example, the offline map in the sense in your book, if you have a map of India, that is nothing but a graph. Second, I'll tell you the next example. Okay, any building, if you consider that building has its own layout. Okay, layout in the sense it gives you the information, yes, uh, or we can say, okay, next best example. Before purchasing any flat, okay, your builder gives you some rough idea where exactly the bedroom is, where exactly the kitchen is, where your hall will be there and all. This kind of a layout they prints on their pamphlet, we can say that, or their brochure. On that you can able to find out that how exactly my home is going to look like or my flat is going to look like. Yes, my entry is at this location. From left I can go to kitchen, from right I can go to the bedroom and so on. So that kind of a layout or any design layout of building can be considered as a graph. The components can be considered as rooms, or let's say take the example of orchid layout. Okay, orchid layout will give you the information about departments, department, mechanical department. From left if you go, it will go to the civil department. Then if you turn towards the canteen, you can go to the canteen and so on. So vertices and edges are the components, varies depending upon which kind of a graph you are showing. Okay, I have given you example. When I am considering map, I can use vertices, the green color as states or cities or districts. If I'm using the college as a example layout, I can use the green vertices like department name. Then I can use the next as a lab names and so on. So depending upon this, you can change the name of the vertices or ages of which kind of a things you are representing to it. Okay, now I hope all of you are getting the meaning of data structure and how exactly day to day life you encounter with all the data structures that you are working with. Okay, now in previous diagram here, linear data structure and non-linear data structure category, I told you stack, queue, linked list, stack, queue, trees and graph. These are 4 data structure, and arrays and linked list, these are ways to implement these 4 basic data structure. Way in the sense method. Method means I can, listen carefully, I can implement stack program with the help of array. Also, I can implement stack program with the help of linked list. Okay, meaning if whenever I am using array, a normal array, you can make your program that your normal array wala program will satisfy all the property of this stack. Means one after another you are adding, one after another you are removing. Okay, so see, all the time whenever you are implementing or writing a data structure, it always comes with the rules. Okay, so there are 2 ways to implement those rules. One is array and one is linked list. As soon as we start our implementation of stack, tree and all those things, you will come to know what is the difference between implementation of stack using array and implementation of stack using linked list. I'll give you basic rough idea. If I want to implement stack using array, you will be defining like for example, here how many books are there? 1 2 3 4. Okay, 4 books are there. Okay, if I'm using or I'm writing a stack program using array, I will be declaring the size of a stack is equal to 4. 4 in the sense 4 books are there. Means what I will be doing. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I hope now you are visible with the notepad. Let's consider if I'm having 5 books. Okay, and I have to implement stack with 5 books. What is the rule? You have to keep all books one after one after other as per the previous diagram. Okay, so after previous one after another. If I want to implement stack using array, I will declare integer size of book is 5, so I will write a of 5. So what I am doing, I am implementing all rules of stack with the help of this array. Okay, now if I want to use stack using linked list, here comes with the pointer integer if I say 5. So according to that, if I'm using stack with the linked list, I'm using pointers to implement stack. If I'm using array, I will be using this simpler way to implement it. Okay, getting so there is a difference of implementation. So I'm telling you that array and linked list. Okay, array and linked list. These are 2 methods to implement any data structure. In the sense, I have what I have 4 basic data structures: stack, Q graph. All fours I can implement using array as well as I can implement it using linked list. Means you will be having two programs for a single implementation stack. Okay, similarly two programs, queue using array, queue using linked list, tree using array, tree using linked list, graph using array, graph using linked list. So according to that, basic data structure will be changed. Not basic data structure will change. The program implementation of four basic data structure will change depending upon what methodology I am using. If I am using array and if I am using linked list. So that we will go afterwards whenever we will start implementation. But what I want to say over here, if I am saying this, wait, I'll change the screen. One second, I'm changing the screen. Now I hope you are visible again with the PowerPoint presentation. So linear and non-linear data structures, why it is, I'll tell you the basic reason why array and linked lists are categorized under the broad category of non-primitive data structure. See, all those things, array, linked list, stack, queue, tree and graph, you cannot implement without the basic data types, integer, float, character, pointer, double and so on. So all those things are categorized into the non-linear data structure. So these two are methods, remaining are the data structure. Okay, so I hope all of you are getting what is the data structure. So I'll tell you the descript or the definition between primitive data structure and non-primitive first. So primitive data structures are also called as the atomic or basic or built-in predefined data types. In the sense integer, float, character, double, you are using as it is those from this system. You are not modifying it or you can't even modify it. So you have to take it as it is. So it is called as the atomic or basic. All those, we know that all the programming languages are supported by these four basic data types, and as those are basic one, we can say that it is directly operated on a machine level instruction. So at the machine level, your integer, float, character, double are directly operated. Users are not responsible for making them to analyze up to the last machine level part. So it is designed in a such a way that they can directly access the information through the machine level. Like you know that from the digital techniques and all part, electronics part, the informations are getting stored into the register and the components are there. From that hardware you have to access the information and so and so. Though so the programming is responsible for accessing such kind of information from the location from where it was stored. Next, primitive data structures are those which have predefined way of storing a data by the system, and we can perform the multiple operation on that. So predefined way in the sense how to write a particular type of a data, like we are writing integer a is equal to 5. So it has its own predefined way, indicates that I want to store a variable, I want to store a data with number 5 as a variable a, and which is of type integer. So we can say that there must be a specific or predefined way for storing the primitive data structure. While non-primitive data structures are the data structure where you are implementing a user's job. User job in the sense, like I told you, the applications like MACD token system, applications like Google Map, applications like your messaging or WhatsApp. For that purpose, you have to write some kind of a programs. That programs need to use the basic primitive data type, and your basic primitive data type you cannot directly use for building such kind of applications. You have to write your program by using this application, then and then only new software comes or new mobile app comes. So primitive data structures are not sufficient for such kind of a jobs. So we need to derive some kind of a data structure that is a user defined data structure, and you take it from the primitive data structure. Okay, so likewise, while discussing about practical, if I need to store the information of a student or a book, I am using a primitive data structure like integer pages, character author name, and your float price of that book, and so on. So meaning I am designing my own way of storing the information of a book with the help of structure, and I am taking the help of my primitive basic data types. Okay, so non-primitive data structures cannot be completed without primitive data structure. So that things need to be taken as a consideration. Next, there are user-defined data types which the user defines using primitive and derived data types. You are using structure in object-oriented language. You are using class. Depending upon the needs, you are using combination of primitive and non-primitive data structures. Along with that, you are designing some kind of operations into it to make it workable like a particular program or like a particular application. So data structure, you cannot say only primitives are the data structure or non-primitives are the data structure. When a term data structure comes, broadly it is your combination of primitive data structure, non-primitive data structure, linear, non-linear, and the methods like your arrays, trees, and graphs, and so and so. So all those things togetherly falling under the category of your data structure. Okay, so this is the basic information regarding primitive, non-primitive data structure. So whatever we have discussed, this is the difference between this. What is the primitive and non-primitive data structure? Okay, we discuss in primitive it is atomic, basic. Here you are creating by taking the help of primitive. Next, it is supported and directly operated at the machine level instruction, but non-primitive are not directly operated on machine level instruction. With the help of primitive, you are taking the example. Okay, these are some basic difference between the primitive and non-primitive data structure. Here you can see the example integer last point in primitive data structure. Example like integer, float, character pointer, and in non-primitive data structure you have examples like stack, queue, linked list, graphs, tree, and so and so. Okay, so whatever we have discussed up till now, this is the example of your this is the difference between your primitive and non-primitive data structure. Okay, now at the beginning, okay, I have wait a minute, I'm moving the slides. Okay, at the beginning of your first lecture, okay, I told you that information about I'm going to discuss you about information overall of data structure part. Okay, so if you observe, is it visible? I have posted, or I am showing the slide of syllabus of data structure. Is it visible, everyone?
Yes,
Anyone?
ma'am.
Okay, I'm showing the slide
Yes,
of
ma'am.
data structure syllabus. From that, okay, your first chapter is very small, which gives you only 4 to 5 points. Whatever I have discussed up till now, I have covered the first three part: data, comma, data types, comma, data structure. Now I hope all of you have having the information about, or the definition at least about data, data types, and data structure. Okay, now whatever I'm moving from the next points onwards, I will be discussing the remaining points of your first chapter. Okay, first I will take representation of information, then I'll take characteristics of algorithm, program, analysis of program, and after that abstract data type. Okay, so
Hello, ma'am.
up to this, sorry, someone want to say something?
Ma'am, screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. uh, Someone just
Yes,
said
ma'am.
me
Yes, ma'am.
screen
Now it's
is
visible. Now it's visible.
visible right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Getting now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing, sorry, over
Yes,
here
ma'am. Yes,
data structure and its syllabus. Am I right?
yes, ma'am. Now it's
Okay.
visible.
Okay. Now first 3 points I have covered up till now. Henceforth, whatever I will be discussing, the remaining points from the chapter number 1. Okay. Now I hope all of you got the information regarding this data, data types and data structure. Okay. I'll move for the next points from chapter number 1. Okay. Just give me wait a minute. I'm in a college and the power is off. I need to connect to somewhere. It is having the backup. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I'm connecting my system with the backup. 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, I'll now move to the next point from chapter number 1. After data, data structures, I'll move to representation of information. See, all the points in chapter are very easy that you have already known from the first year. Okay, the next point is representation of information. Okay, now every data is represented in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, that we are calling it as a on and off. Okay, so basic unit of data representation is considered as 0 or 1. Now what we are doing, if suppose I want to represent some information, single 0 or single 1 cannot be a complete information. Okay, no one can identify a person with a single alphabet. As my name is Sneha, okay, I need to write SNEHA 5 alphabet together, then and then only my name comes, right? Sneha. So a person cannot be identified by a single alphabet like S. Okay, if I'm saying S is alphabet for this respective person, you cannot identify a person with single alphabet. But yes, you can identify a division with single alphabet like A division, B division. Depending upon that, which kind of information you are representing, the type and representation changes. Now I am writing a class, so division A or B division is there, but whenever I am pointing to one particular person, I need to collect the alphabet together. So whenever you are representing such kind of information, we are collecting the bits, combination of zeros and ones. Not necessary that all are 0, all are 1, but some combinations of zeros and ones together. Basic form we can say that 8 bits represent 1 byte of information, and that 1 byte is nothing but your character. Okay, so collection of bits need to be there whenever I am representing a data. Okay, so there are three difference, sorry, not difference, there are three types how the information is represented. Now why the three only? Because you have anything anything in your system, it is falling under either 0 to 9 or A to Z. एक तर ते अल्फाबेट आहे or it is a numbers. Okay, anything you represent, it is either 0 to 9 and A to Z. So for that purpose, a basic information representation is falling under the category of these three: integer, real number and characters. Now what is the meaning of this? I hope all of you know. Let's 1 minute. I'll change the slide share. Okay, 1 second. I'm opening my notepad. Okay, I hope it is visible now. Notepad. Yeah, I'll remove all. Okay, first we are discussing integer representation, right? Integer representation. Okay, now in integer representation. So what is the meaning of this? See, in first year or any, you know that, okay? You are writing this as 6, okay? But internally your system identifies it as 0, 1, 1, 0. Am I right? Yes, no? माहिती आहे काय? All of you are getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, from 0 to 1, sorry, 0 to 9. Okay, let's, whatever it is, each decimal, these are decimal numbers, 0 to 9 numbers, and every number is getting represented by 4-bit, we can say what, binary digits. So right, binary digits are there for representing a decimal number. Likewise, whatever I am writing as a decimal number, your system takes it as a binary digit or binary combinations of 0 and 1. Okay, similarly it goes, I'll have 0, 0, 0, then 0, 0, 0, 1, so on. Okay, this you have 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. Okay, so on. Likewise, I have chosen over here upper side as a 6. Okay, so 6 is the combination of 0 plus 0, 1, 1, 0. Now, how exactly it is represented? Why it is called as a 6 itself? Okay, for that purpose, you have a conversion system from integer to binary or binary to integer. The last one, this is called as a least significant bit, LSB. Okay, I'll write below that LSB, least significant bit, and this one, this 0 is MSB, most significant bit. Okay, who is this one? Okay, least significant bit and most significant bit. As we are writing this in the integer format, it will be in a 2's complement format. Okay, or 2 raised to format. Now, what is the meaning of this 2 raised to format? Okay, if I am having this 6, 0, 1, 1, 0, from LSB I will be starting it by writing 2's complement format, in the sense you have least one as 2 raised to, where is raised to, okay, 2 raised to 0, this is nothing but 1, this 0. Okay, next, this is 2 raised to, let me give me 1 raised to 0, 1, 2, 3, 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to what, 1. Okay, okay, are you getting what I am trying to say? 2 raised to 0, from LSB to MSB, you are assigning the values to the each bit. 2 raised to 0, here this is 2 raised to 1, this is 2 raised to 2, sorry, this is 2 raised to 2, and this is 2 raised to 3. Okay, so this is nothing but the what we can say, the representation is happening. Okay, if I am trying to find out the answer of this, what will be your answer? If I want to represent 0, 1, 1, 0 to the 6 itself, how exactly it comes? See, in your bit combination, wherever the 1 is there, that value you have to take only, and you have to add those numbers. Okay, Okay, I hope you might know this already. Plus, okay, so wherever 1 is there, you are performing that only addition. So 2 raised to 2, what is your answer over here? It is 4. Here 2 raised to 1, your answer is bola 2 raised to 0 is equal to what? And 2 raised to 1, tell me.
2 raised to 1 is 2 and 2 raised to 0 is 1.
Right, 2 raised to 1 is 2 and 2 raised to 0 is 1. Okay, so here you will get your answer 2 raised to 1 is equal to 2. So you have to provide plus over there. Wherever the 0 is there, these terms there should not be considered. Okay, 2 raised to 3 and 2 raised to 0 should not be considered. So 4 plus 2 is equal to 6, you know that. So I can identify that decimal number 6 is represented as 0110. Okay, so likewise your integer representation happens. Okay, so integer representation, as we are discussing first point of information representation, in that first one is integer representation. It is, as we know, it is used to store negative as well as positive value. We have just represented non-negative data in the sense of positive data in a binary format. Each bit is represented with the power of 2, that is 2 raised to 0 from leftmost to rightmost, that is most significant bit, and so on. Now if I want to represent a negative data, you need to calculate 1's complement and 2's complement. So what is the meaning of 1's complement? Anyone knows? If I want to represent a negative data, what to write? Is it there in your first, it was there in your first year or not?
No, ma'am.
No? No, okay. So if I want to represent negative numbers, okay, what should I have to do? First, I have to calculate 1's complement. Okay, 1's complement. What is the meaning of 1's complement? Whatever the number are given to you, you have to make simply opposite of it. Okay, wherever 0 is there, put 1. Wherever 1 is there, put 0. So this is your 1's complement. Okay, 0 1 1 zeros, 1's complement is 1 0 0 1. Okay, when I am adding 1, okay, I am adding 1 into it. Wait a minute. 1 into it. Okay, that will become your 2's complement. Okay, whatever the answer comes of this 1 0 0 1, 1 plus 1, you have lastly 0, it will carry 1, so your answer is 1, and it is 0, and then it is 1. So this will be your answer of called as a 2's complement. So in the binary format, I can represent positive as well as negative values. To represent positive values, whatever we have discussed previously, that 2 raised to something, okay, 2 raised to 0 to so on, that will be the positive representation. And if I want to perform negative representation, आता 0 1 1 0 चा negative number असणार आहे 1 0 1 0. Okay, that is called as a 2's complement or a integer representation in a negative format of a binary numbers. Okay, so for this integer representation, there are 2 points, or we can say sub points: represent positive data and represent negative data. Okay, so these are 2 sub points falling under the category of integer representation. All of you are getting? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now can anyone tell me what is the 2's complement of this number? Okay, I'll put one number on a screen. You just look at that and give me answer. Okay, I have. Okay, there is no limitation that binary digit has to be represented in a 4 only. Okay, I can represent binary digits as a 16 combination as well. Okay, so if I suppose I'm giving you 0 0 1 0 0 1 1 0, tell me its first one's complement first and then give me its 2's complement. One's complement means you have to simply change its sign 0 to 1, 1 to 0, and for 2's complement you have to add +1 to the least significant bit. I hope you know the binary addition subtraction rules, huh? So those who are answering the question, answer in a chat. One's complement is equal to 2's complement is equal to. By this answer we will stop. It is already 5 minutes more. Oh, it's 7 minutes more actually. So reply me in a chat so I can see it and will stop after that answers. Those who are replying in a chat, reply me in a chat itself. Are you getting what you're supposed to answer? Someone say yes, no. One's complement is equal to and 2's complement is equal to. Yeah, I'm getting the answer. Right. One's complement, 2's complement. Correct. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So I'll write the final answer over here. The one's complement is equal to 1 1 0 1 1 0 0 1. This is your one's complement. 2's complement is equal to, I'll write the answer 1 1 0 1 1 0 1 0. Okay, those who are writing your answer, just cross check. This is my original number and I ask you to make ones and zeros complement. Ones and twos complement. Okay, so these are two answers of ones and twos complement. Okay, so thank you those who have replied over here. Okay, in next lecture what we will do in next lecture, just a minute. In next lecture we'll discuss the remaining part, real number representation and character representation. Okay, so for today's lecture we'll stop here. One thing I want to tell you as a notice. Okay, in practical session I ask you to write a program. Okay, 3 programs I have given you and I told you I'll put the Google form where you are supposed to update it or you are supposed to load it. Okay, I'll tell you first. For A division, I am there for all 4 batches. Okay, because practical, what we can say, practical evaluation or practical checking will be the batch wise. So batch wise, who are the teachers, they are going to check whatever the program you have uploaded. I'll tell you what is the reason I have not uploaded that link. Because according to timetable I am here for both division for data structure theory. Okay, A division 4 batches are with me for data structure practical. B division's practical batch is with some another teacher. Okay, So that teacher will send you the link where you are supposed to upload your data structure practicals. Whatever link I will be sharing for the practical, that is only limited to A division. So practical teacher for B division is different, and practical teacher for A division is me. Sorry, theory is for me with itself, as I'm conducting data structure theory for A and B division both. Simply the change is B division practical teacher. So there is no that hurry to submit all your practical. The condition is uh, for the next, before the next turns, means you have a practical of DS on Tuesday. Before the next turn, you are supposed to submit the practical. So till you have 2 days remaining, those who have still not performed your practical, the link will be shared before Tuesday, and on that you upload it. Okay, that there is no such hurry, because I found multiple people replied me in a WhatsApp about all the programs, 3 programs whatever I have given. So it is very please try to see the condition. It is very difficult for me, as you both division are 126 students. So it is highly impossible for me to open 126 chats and check the program one after another. So I request, please don't send any program on my WhatsApp. I will send you the link, and on that you upload it. Okay, so respective links will be available to all your WhatsApp classes or WhatsApp group, sorry, A division, B division separately, and on that you upload it. Links will be available before Tuesday. Okay, that's the only thing I want to convey to you. I hope all of you cleared with this. Okay, I hope all of you come to know the today's discussion, what happened with the data structure wala part and current notice. Is it clear? Anyone?
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
unmute. If any doubt, you can ask now. If no doubt, we'll close the today's session. Okay. Okay, I guess no doubt is there. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you all of you. Thank you for joining. We'll go. Okay, bye bye. I'll end up this session. Thank you.